everyone working? Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Cool.
Going good.
That's good. How's everyone's week been?
Long week. Sorry. Yeah, bleep that one out. Sorry, I forgot.
Colby.
I forgot.
It's spring break, bro.
Colby.
How could it be that bad?
Well, when you got freaking tax work to do all the time, it gets long really quick.
Yeah. Not for me. I was snowboarding today.
Long
I
division.
saw that.
I think my face looks a little burnt because of it, like from the goggle line
Yeah.
down.
Yeah,
You know,
a little bit.
Yeah.
got a
Were you guys
little
just up
taste.
at Brian Head?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Kara had class, so I was just like, "See ya."
That's right, because UTEX isn't until
It's in 2 weeks.
Next week.
2
weeks?
next week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Because if they
2
were
weeks.
back to back, we were gonna take a trip, and we'd each miss a week of school. But as is, like,
Right.
it just sucks having a filler week in between.
Right. Well, that's cool. Anyone got anything? Any exciting news before we jump into it?
I got nothing. I'm boring this week.
Darren has something to tell us.
Yeah, we
You
we're
pregnant?
going to Arizona to play some lacrosse tomorrow. Stoked for it.
Who you guys
That's
playing?
what I was going for, Colby.
Oh, I was trying to make it funny, but I guess
What did you say, Colby?
not. I said, you're pregnant?
I'm pregnant. Not Kara, me.
Yeah, you, not Kara, you.
Nice.
We're playing Northern Arizona and Fort Lewis. Last year when we
Okay.
played Fort Lewis, we led the game, and then right at the end, barely slipped away from us. But that one felt pretty biased by the refs. Obviously, we have a bias because we're the ones that lost. But I don't know. Didn't seem like a straight up game. That's all.
Did you guys watch any of the PLL's championship series? Not too long
No,
ago?
I
The
forgot
scores
about
were
it.
nuts.
Dude, it was good. It was crazy. It looked to me like it was box lacrosse and field lacrosse came together. Where it, like, the number of players on the field was closer to box, and same with the size, but they still had some field lacrosse rules.
Wait, was it a shorter field?
Yeah. It was like 50 yards or something like that.
Taking
Really?
out like the middle, like 40 yards.
Mhm.
Huh.
Yeah,
But
so
you were
It's pretty much like you're playing box to box.
Yeah.
So, but they still had a 2-point arc,
Hmm.
and
brought
it
that
was
in.
also, it wasn't as wide either. It wasn't like the 60 yards. It was like half that.
40.
The PLL, I watched the first games in the first season. There was like zero defense, and that's how I feel like the championship went, just because it was
Oh,
all
for
shoulders,
sure.
you know. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm just watching the goalies get dumped on, and I was like,
Yeah,
don't love it.
Yeah.
I'm biased.
that's where I felt like it was more like box than field. Was the defense, like in box, the defense is kind of there, but for the most part, it's like whoever can shoot better because the goalie takes up the whole cage. But it was the same 6x6 cage, and it was just
Yeah.
like who's ever a better shooter.
Yeah, the physicality was definitely down from what box is, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. So their regular season starts in June. Is it June?
I think so.
No, I was thinking
Somewhere around
May,
there.
but it's probably June.
May or June. End of May, beginning of June.
They
Yeah,
might have like
somewhere around
a
there.
preseason game or two in May.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
Probably. That's
It's
cool.
kind of sick that you can be in college but still play in the pros. That's nuts. Or like,
That's a thing now.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Can you
seasons
play-
don't line up.
can you play pros, or is it they all just go play box?
Oh,
Like,
I don't know.
all the college
It might
players.
just be box.
Yeah, maybe.
I can tell you for sure.
Who knows? That'll be cool, though. Be cool to see. So, anyways, shall we get into it, boys?
Yeah.
We shall.
Awesome.
yeah.
The
Perfect.
majority of people listening to this, though, that have no idea what we're just talking about is lacrosse. It'll be the greatest sport on the planet, so check it out.
By far.
Facts. All right. Well, welcome back to the boys chat. Please subscribe, all that. stuff, hit the bell so you know when our new episodes come out. They come out every Monday, so you don't miss one. All right, let's jump in. Today's episode is movies. Movie series is series.
Siri? Is it like
Siri.
a plural of
Siri.
cactus?
Siri? Is it Siri? Oh,
Like a
no.
moose is a meese.
Dude, my phone actually just picked up Siri.
Geese?
But anyways, yeah, we're gonna rank different movie series. Series?
Siri? I don't know.
It's got to just be series.
Series.
Yeah.
We're gonna rank
Different movie series.
movie series. Right. If we might do a part 2 where we do individual movies, let us know if you want that. Anyways, I deemed that a movie series needs to have at least 3 movies, because if it's just like one movie then a sequel,
Just a sequel.
at least 3. At least 3 to be considered a series. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the series, rank them 1 through 10 as a whole series, and then we're gonna debate on what is the best movie in that series and what's the worst one. Okay. So let's start off with a banger, Shrek.
10 out of 10.
Darren, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, Shrek was not a thing in my house growing up. I've seen, I think, all of them once. I don't think I've seen the third.
You can't beat the first one, though. But, I mean, we'll discuss that in a minute.
Like, so to make a series good, are we saying at least a majority of the movies have to be good?
Just as a whole, the whole series. If you
Yeah, but like
take
series as a
every
whole.
movie together and put them together, the whole
So
series.
like there's four movies in the series of Shrek.
Right.
There's only 2 of them are good. Only 50% of the series is good. So like, is that a good series? I don't know.
Well, but
I
here's
don't
the
know
thing.
about these
It's
movies to determine.
It's like just like the sum of the whole is more than the sum of each part's kind of logic.
That's math.
No,
I think that just went right over
science.
Darren's head.
Yeah. Matt, what do you rank them 1 out of 10?
I'd put it at like an 8. Just the first one brings it up to like a 12, and then the rest kind of like lack. But
That's fair.
First one's good. I love it for the memes.
I think the best one's the first, worst one's the third.
I can get behind that.
Which one's the
Yeah.
one where there's like the donkey gets with the dragon?
That's the second one.
First one.
Well,
Technically, the first one.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, like when there's the little babies running around.
That's the third one.
That's
isn't
the third one.
it? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that
Do
was
the
not
roar.
good.
To the rock.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the first one's by far the best. I mean, I have it on my phone, so
I do too.
illegally pirated.
Might not want to say that out loud.
That's getting clipped.
Just take that right out.
Anna told me right when I got my haircut. I think we had it like down to the side. She's
Handsome
like, you look
Shrek.
like the Do the Roar kid. No, she's like, you look
Oh.
like the Do the Roar kid.
Oh.
Handsome Shrek was Tommy.
Oh,
That
fuck.
was Handsome
Fact.
Shrek.
When he wore the Hawaiian shirt for the Halloween game.
Yes,
game over.
yes. All right, so I think we all agreed the first one's the best. Third one's probably the worst one.
Yeah, and then the second one's right behind the first one, in my opinion. Second one's pretty good.
For real, quality sequel.
Wait, how's the fourth one? I don't remember it. So how is it?
I don't either.
The fourth.
So is the fourth one where, like, I want to say, is that the one where Shrek wishes he was never born, and then so like everything goes out crazy, and
I thought
Fiona's
that
like
was
an
the
ogre,
third
and
one.
is that the third one?
That's
I
the
think
third
that's
one,
the
yeah.
third one.
Shoot,
I
then
don't know
what's
what the
the
fourth one's about.
Is
I
the
don't know what
fourth?
the fourth
Wait,
one's-
is the fourth one when, like, the villains take, like, Prince Charming and all them take back over? Is that the fourth one?
No idea.
So maybe the fourth one's the worst one because we can't remember it.
Yeah, that's probably just suppressing it. So
Okay, so after
I'm
two,
bringing down the
kind of
ranking. I'm bringing down the
Yeah.
ranking. Only 50% of the movies are good. It's just because the first one's good enough to pull it up.
Hey, Shrek the musical though goes up to a 7. 7 out of 10. All right. Let's move on. Harry Potter
Goated.
Like a 2.
Yeah.
2. Okay.
Let's
I
For the
just
2.
What's a lot rated on that, Matt?
Yeah, come on.
I've never read them, never watched them, never really cared to. The whole like idea of Harry Potter has just been like weird to me.
So have you actually seen all the movies though?
No.
All right.
So my opinion doesn't matter,
opinion-
but I don't really care to watch them either. It's like Men with Twilight is how I am with.
Darren, you had praises for it,
I mean, have you guys read the books?
Yeah, most of them.
parts of them.
I don't. So I watched all the movies and then read the books later, but I don't know any movie series that follows the books as closely as Harry Potter does. Like
That's
that
true.
was incredible. Also, the fact that because they're always using like 23-year-olds to play like 14-year-olds in movies, but they actually went and got a bunch of 11-year-olds, and then as they grew up, they saw all the movies. That is baller. That is commitment to a cause, and like the casting on it, pretty impressive.
It's
Also,
pretty spot on.
Hermione had a glow up
true.
like no one's business.
Ooh, we're gonna spin off on that. What movie do you guys think that she actually kind of became attractive? Without being like too weird, like growing up, like when was it like, oh, yeah. Me, it was
I don't
number
know. When
5.
does the frizzy hair calm down?
Yeah, that's probably
Never.
about the same time, Darren. I was thinking.
But what 1 through 10, Darren? 1 through 10. What would you rank it?
It's hard to beat. Like 9, maybe 10. It's up there for me. I think.
Colby?
I think it's probably about 8 or so. A couple of those ones are a little cringy to watch, but that's because they're a little bit older. Some of those
Right.
scenes were a little touch and go.
Hot take. The what is that called? Percy Jackson movie series is better. I'm joking. I'm completely.
The 2 they have?
Yeah, the 2. The sequel that they have.
Anna just gave me the dirtiest look from over the couch.
All right, Colby, favorite of the franchise, favorite movie, and least favorite movie?
Probably favorite of that one is probably Goblet of Fire. That's probably my favorite one out of all of them.
Retweet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about least favorite?
Least favorite, I'd probably have to say, what's the second one called?
Monsters.
Chamber of Secrets.
Secrets.
Chamber of Secrets
Percy
was
Jackson,
probably
my
pretty
bad.
bad. I don't love that one because it's just like awkward with all the actors because they're in that awkward 12 to 13-year-old range where they're just super weird and awkward. So I don't like it.
I didn't love that one, but probably. Oh, I forgot it. The Half-Blood Prince. I feel like not much happens in that movie. Like it's just.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a
Dumbledore
big-
dying. It's nothing.
Is that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ginny and Harry's first kiss. Nothing. Whatever.
Well, maybe I'm forgetful.
So what I'm hearing is a lot of filler.
Yeah, a lot of filler, not key plot points.
Dude, my favorite has always been 5.
Which one's that?
Number 5, Order of the Phoenix. Everyone
Oh,
dogs
that one.
that one's my favorite. It always has been.
That is a good one.
Matt, you were saying something?
I was just gonna say I don't know any of them, haven't watched any of them, but my favorite is whichever one the quote comes from Lord of Voldemort, where he's like, "Harry Potter, the boy who lived, come."
That's like every single one.
Deathly Hallows Part 2 when they're in the Dark Forest. He's the last Horcrux.
I can touch you now.
Oh, man.
Yo, did you know the actor of Voldemort is the voice in, like, he's one of the singers in The Prince of Egypt? Like, he's like the pharaoh dude in the Let My People Go song. He's got a killer voice. Never would have known.
Interesting.
He's also got a huge nose, too.
Yeah, he does. He's got a
Like,
massive
bro,
nose.
Like, for real, the dude's got a big nose.
He goes from no nose to all nose. There's no in between for him.
Okay. Honestly, I think it's a 7 out of 10 as a total.
Yeah.
My brother Gage would totally disagree, but
Well, Gage isn't here, so
exactly.
He
Gage's
can argue
opinion
with us
doesn't
later.
matter. All right, let's move on. James Bond. It's
You
one of the
can't beat that
largest
series.
running series.
Longest?
It's one of the longest. I mean, it's been going on for years.
40 years.
They've got
yeah.
what, close to 30 movies now.
No.
Something like that.
Mm,
It's
I think
it's
I think
above
it's probably like
26.
18. It's above
No,
26.
It's more than 18. Trust me, they've got a lot.
Honestly, James Bond and Mission Impossible blur together in my head a lot.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, at least with James Bond, it's a different plot and kind of different flow for each movie. Unlike Mission Impossible, where it's the world's going to end, Tom Cruise saves it and runs around,
you
and then
can't
that's
forget
the end of
Right.
how
that
his
movie.
entire agency has abandoned him. They have zero resources.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There's 27 movies in 60 years.
didn't think there was that many, but then you start counting them. I guess there is. So
Yeah, there's a lot.
that
Really?
one,
How
Skyfall's
many have
good.
you guys actually seen though? That's the question. How many of the movies have you guys seen? You've seen 4, Matt?
I've seen all of them.
Somewhere around there, yeah. You've seen every James Bond movie?
I couldn't tell you. That makes it up with Mission Impossible too much.
We have a whole collection of DVDs and actually VHS tapes of James Bond movies at my parents' house.
So my parents are.
My grandpa would watch it all the time. So like 4 that I can like remember, but I've probably seen like 10.
So which one's your favorite, Colby?
That's a hard one. It just depends. Goldfinger's a really good one. That's probably one of my top ones. And then Doctor No is pretty good. License to Kill is awful. A View to Kill is pretty good. Any of the Daniel Craig ones are pretty good.
Octopussy's pretty good.
Octopussy's really good. The Man with the Golden Gun's really, really good.
I like Casino Royale.
Casino Royale is really good. Or like The World's Not Enough, or what's that other one with who's the actor that played before Daniel Craig? Oh, I can't remember his name.
Pierce Brosnan?
Yes, all of his are pretty good.
Yeah, he's my parents' favorite. So
Yeah, between him and Sean Connery and Daniel Craig, they're like my top 3
you
Bonds.
can't beat Sean Connery. He's the OG.
No, exactly.
Rest in
Roger
peace.
Moore's pretty good too as James Bond. I feel like
Have you guys seen the newest one, No Time to Die?
that one was actually pretty good. Kind of a good way
When did
to
it
end.
come out?
Came out last year.
Yeah,
Sometime.
last year.
Was it last year or the year before?
Yeah, I think it was the year before. I think it was 21.
Yeah, 2
I
years.
think I saw it then.
Okay. And before that, it was Spectre.
Yeah, Spectre,
Right.
and then Skyfall.
Fun fact about the newest one, No Time to Die, Billie Eilish is the youngest artist to record a song for a James Bond intro. Her and her brother. They were the youngest to write and sing an intro song. So
Interesting.
That's cool.
yeah. What would you guys rate it as a whole series though?
I'd give it a 9 or a 10. Just because there's a couple of those that kind of suck, but they're still part of the series.
I'd give it an 8, not from like purely my opinion, but like because a lot of people like just don't really care for them, if that makes sense.
Right. It's not everybody's movie.
Like I think they're good movies, but there are a lot of people who are like, oh, it's just James Bond, who cares? You know, like it doesn't reach everyone.
Right.
The ones I've seen have been good, and I mean, hats off for durability. You know, like just the fact that it's been going this long. That's impressive. That says something to it, to the name. What about you, Tanner?
I'm kind of with Colby. I would probably give it a 9 because it's a good series. I enjoy watching it and those types of movies. I think they're good. So
Couple of weak movies in the series, but overall,
yeah, there's a couple of the actors that aren't as good. That got like one or two movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Daniel Craig has now been playing James Bond the longest.
Yeah.
I think not just with movie count, but also in years. He's been playing James Bond for the last 15 years or something like that, or more now.
Wow.
Yeah, and he came out and said he was done. Yeah, he came out and said he was done playing James Bond and stuff. So
yeah, so now they've got a whole huge list or potential new James Bond people that are gonna take on the title, but who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go on to Lord of the Rings.
I really like Lord of the Rings.
My only complaint is it's just too long. A couple of those movies are just way too long for my taste. But again, the books are long too.
That's
the
true.
Extended editions are too long. The regular ones are fine.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
There ain't no other way to watch them besides the extended editions. It's the only way I watch them.
My film class, I swear, like every other day, we're going and watching something from the making of the Lord of the Rings, just because like they recorded how they recorded everything so well. Like they recorded the process, So like, there's just always stuff to watch about it, and I've just been like getting the itch. I'm like, I want to see those again. I got to see those again.
Like how Airborne, Air, Air,
Aragon.
Aragon kicked the helmet, and it was like actually a solid metal helmet, and he like broke his toe, and that was his real reaction.
Nah, I haven't heard that. It's like more stuff on like sound design, like how they went and got the different sounds for things, like all the different elements.
Or just like the camera tricks with the hobbits and then regular sized people. They just
Yeah.
like put them further back, or for wide shots, they actually use like little people and put masks on them. Because I think the dude for Frodo was from India, and so he had, he was not white like Frodo, so they put like a scary mask on him up close, freaky, right? Because it didn't fit his face. It was just kind of like a Halloween mask almost, but far away you couldn't tell. So
Nice.
But Matt, out of 10, what would you rank it?
See, it's hard because I just said that like James Bond didn't reach everyone, and I know not everyone loves Lord of the Rings, but I feel like Lord of the Rings is like such a great like series.
You're probably going there, Tanner, but like, which would you put above Lord of the Rings as a series or The Hobbit?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. 10 out of 10. Like no questions asked.
I like The Hobbit better.
Really?
It's just actually easier to follow, and I just kind of like the story a little bit better too.
I can see that because the Hobbit really focuses on one storyline, and it really focuses on Bilbo, whereas Lord of the Rings focuses on Frodo and Sam, Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli, Merry and Pippin, Gandalf. It focuses on so many, but they do such a good job at least in the movies. Peter Jackson does an amazing job at telling all those stories to get to the final goal.
Yeah, it does get pulled together pretty good, but sometimes it's like, okay, why are we bouncing around so much? But I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Darren?
I think I'd say.
Sorry, Matt. Sorry.
No, you go, Darren, please.
I think I'm with Colby. I'd say Hobbit for similar reasons, just because I was younger when I watched them for the first time. So like, just having the simpler storyline just allowed it to be processed easier.
I think I'm a little biased because I've watched The Lord of the Rings like at least 8 times each, because they were like part of our like road trip movies.
That would do
like,
it.
We would just cruise through the Twin Towers, and like while we're like
two towers, not Twin Towers.
Sorry, two towers.
Get it right.
Yes,
Matt.
the two towers.
It's not September.
Towers.
We're okay.
My goodness.
You might want to cut that one out, Tanner.
10 after 9.
But yeah, I think that's why I like those ones better. And I feel like magic that I feel or like see when I'm watching The Lord of the Rings, and it's like there, but it's not there because they're trying to make it more realistic in The Hobbit. And I think that takes part of the magical touch away, at least for me. But that's just my opinion.
That's fair.
We're going to bypass the top and worst movie because, in my opinion, they're pretty all equal. I like them. It kind of varies on which one I like more than the other. Do you guys concur? It's kind of like, I mean, Return of the King's the typical favorite, so.
Yeah.
I'd put The Two Towers as the worst just because as far as movies that like stretch or like drag on, like the whole part with the, what are those trees called? The walking trees. Trees. They like kind of extend that part a little bit more than necessary, but it's like, it's a good part, but just a little more than needed.
I think they drag it out more. in the books, even though. But
yeah.
Getting close to the end, I want to hit at least 2 more. And I want to hit my personal favorite movie series of all time. It's a 10 out of 10. I'm sure you guys can guess it. It's Star Wars.
Oh, by far, that's a 10.
10 out of 10.
Well, I'm going to knock it down to a 9 just because.
Nope.
Well, it's like some of these the newer ones kind of suck.
I was going to say the same thing. The original,
if you include the newer ones, you cut it off at 6.
Perfect.
That's different.
Yeah, cut it off at 6.
No, even the original 3 is perfect. The trilogies, like, bring it down a little bit. They're still great quality movies, and they're still Star Wars, but like they're, not quite like a 9.7, just because you have to be critical. But then the new ones, I don't love the new ones either.
You see, and this is exactly what Freddie Prinze Jr. touched on in another podcast. Freddie Prinze Jr. voiced a character called Kanan Jarrus in the Rebels TV series. And Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau oversaw that. And Dave Filoni was taught by George Lucas, who is the creator of what it is. And he said that the original 3 were made for kids. So the people that grew up watching those hated the prequels 1, 2, and 3 because they're like, oh, this isn't Star Wars. But those movies were made for different kids. And now the new ones, 7, 8, 9, are made for kids. So
They're each targeted
like
to
us and all the older generations hate the newer movies because it's like, oh, this isn't my Star Wars. Of course not. It's made for the new generations. So if you look at it like that, it makes it a little bit easier to appreciate them.
I guess.
But I do agree. The original trilogy is the best, and then the prequels, and then the sequels. But I mean, they all have good parts. I mean, like number 3 is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
Just from the memes alone.
Oh,
Every single scene has been made into a meme. Me and Logan watched it before he left on his mission, and we quoted the entire movie from memes. So, but my personal favorite's number 4. What are you guys' favorites?
I'd say 5.
It's either 2 or 3. They're probably one of my favorites, 2 or 3.
Personally, I've only ever seen 1 and 7, but you'll be proud of me. I downloaded 2 and 3 for this road trip we're about to go on, so I'm catching up. I'm putting in the work.
I applaud you, sir.
After 22 years, we're getting there, baby. We're getting there.
Getting there.
All right. What about worst? Least favorite. Mine's number 8, just like pretty much everybody else. But what about you guys? Least favorite.
Yeah, The Rise of Skywalker was awful. I hated that one.
Was that 9?
8 was The Last Jedi.
Yeah, Tanner
Which
just
was
spent
the-
an entire hour on this topic and not even.
Oh, he could.
Oh,
never
dude.
run out of things to say.
For real.
Which was the one that was the exact same as 6, but like for the new series? Was that?
Number 7 was really close to number 4.
No, which one was with the Star-Lord base or Star whatever base?
Starkiller Base.
Yeah.
That's number 7.
Yeah.
And a lot of people compared it to number 4 on how similar it was to number 4.
Maybe that's the one that I didn't like. Yeah, I just didn't like it because it was like the exact same plot, but like
Worse.
yeah, worse, new people, and not as good of a storyline. But
And
how
Han
many
Solo
movies does
dies
the
in that
Death
one.
Star exist?
What's up?
For how many movies does the Death Star exist?
The first one in 1, and then the second Death Star for 1. Well, I guess technically
and then
in Rogue
Starkiller
One,
base for 1.
1. I guess technically Rogue One has the Death Star in it, as does Revenge of the Sith. So technically the first Death Star's in 3. So yeah, originally 1.
'Cause I feel like there's always one, but it always gets destroyed, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah. But as far as like quoting and like following a storyline and faking having seen them, man, I can drop those
Pretty
quotes
good.
like nobody's business. Karen didn't know. We've been dating for like a year, and then I told her, and she was like, ah. And it pisses her off that I haven't seen them.
At this point, it's like, what are you doing with your life if you haven't seen at least one or somewhat know what goes on? Because
No, I know.
like,
Like,
even if you hate them, they've changed cinema.
yeah. Well, like we've watched like the first half of one of them. I can't remember which, but it was one I had never seen before, and I was quoting half the lines, and she was like, "How do you do that?" And she was so pissed, and I was like, "What do you mean? I have the high ground." It was like
That's 3.
mainly from memes. It was probably 4 then, because it was like
No,
mainly
that's-
from or 3.
That's 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was mainly from all the memes, but I was like, I don't know. You just like slip that in there and then start piecing together the puzzle.
I love that.
Yeah. Another fun fact, that is actually the longest sword fight duel in cinematic history. It has a total runtime of like 8 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes. It's the longest in history. So, and it's
Bro, I'd be
phenomenal,
exhausted.
beautiful. John Williams, man.
The music
phenomenal
in
mind.
Star Wars is
Oh,
like
dude.
half of it. It is amazing.
Yeah. If anyone but John Williams did it, it would not be as good.
Yeah, 100%.
Although the
I
guy
agree.
doing The Mandalorian is pretty good. Ludwig something. He's pretty good too. But yeah, John Williams' music it's crazy famous. It's in Harry Potter, it's Jurassic Park, it's Superman, the Home Alone theme, he did that as well. Indiana Jones, he did that.
Jaws.
Jaws. Yep. All right,
Yes.
well, I could spend another forever talking about Star Wars. We're gonna do one more quick one, even though we could probably all spend another 45 minutes talking about it. We're gonna do Marvel as a whole. We'll do the Infinity Saga. So up until Endgame, we won't do the new stuff right now, but up until Endgame, from Iron Man, I guess the Hulk and Iron Man to Endgame, those movies as a whole. What do you guys rate them, 1 through 10? Matt, we'll start with you.
As a whole, there are a couple bad movies, but most of them are really good. At least up until that point, I would put it at like a 9. Not perfect, but close.
I'd probably put it an 8, 'cause there are, like Matt said, there's a couple bad ones in there, but overall, it's actually really good.
Okay, Darren.
I think it's impressive how they rope everyone in. Like, as that whole series was going on, everybody was going to watch the new ones. And, like, it wasn't so much as, like, with the Star Wars, it was targeted to different age groups, like the different sets of 3, like you're saying. But, like, my dad and I would go and sit down and watch a Marvel movie together, and we both enjoyed equally. So, like, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Probably like a 9. I think Thor: Dark World and Iron Man 3 are the weak points.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree.
I think
8 or
all
9.
of us were thinking of Thor: Dark World when we were like some weak points.
Yep.
Captain Marvel. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Captain Marvel. I know
that
it
one
came.
was
It did
awful.
come out after. No, it came out before Endgame.
Yeah,
I did
dude.
not like it.
It was awful.
But Brie Larson filmed her stuff for Endgame before they filmed Captain Marvel. I got that flip, but it did come out before.
Interesting.
That is probably the weakest point. That's my least favorite movie. What about you guys' least favorite?
Yeah, Captain Marvel wasn't great. I hated that one. Too much women empowerment. You might want to cut that one up too.
So how's that
No,
wedding
that's
party
staying.
going for you,
We're
Colby?
leaving your misogynistic. I'm not going to continue. Never
Do
mind.
it. Do it. Leave
Matt,
it.
what about Matt? What about you? Least favorite? Is it
Thor:
Thor:
Dark
Dark World? Okay,
Yeah.
Darren.
Probably Dark World.
But
Right.
the ironic part is my favorite Marvel movie is Thor: Ragnarok.
Oh, that one by far is the best.
That one is
Thor:
pretty good. That
Ragnarok
one's pretty good.
is 10 out of 10, the best movie. I could watch it any day and be happy.
Piss
like
off,
that.
Ghost.
I'm 3/4 of the way through it right now. I watched it on my commute up to Cedar and back today.
Nice.
That one's pretty good just for the memes too. That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi does a phenomenal job with that one.
Mhm.
So
highly quotable.
Highly quotable.
is that the rest of your guys' favorite? Or do you guys have a different one? Darren?
I got to think about it more, but yeah.
Okay, Colby?
First Iron Man's pretty good though too. That's probably one of my favorites as well.
Winter Soldier was good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
If you just look at like the different superhero series, I think Captain America as a set of 3, that's probably the best set with the least flaws you can find.
Yeah.
All 3 of those are pretty baller.
I think Civil War was another really good movie.
Yeah. Avengers like 2.5 pretty much. So I agree. I agree with you, Colby. Iron Man 1 is by far one of my favorite movies. I think also just because it kind of kicks off the MCU. And I mean, they did it in such a phenomenal way. John Favreau did an amazing job with it. That and Robert Downey Jr. as well. I one of my favorite. Now, what about Infinity War versus Endgame? Which one do you guys like more?
Endgame.
Okay, Matt.
I don't know.
Okay, Darren.
I think Infinity War. I'm like,
That's what I was thinking too, but I'm trying to like not mix up.
trying to separate them
in my head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Infinity War is at the end everyone disappears. Endgame is they bring them back.
I think I like Infinity War just because of the storyline. Like you don't know where it's ending, if that makes sense. Like when you watch it for the first time, it's like, oh wow, that's the end. Like you want more. Whereas Endgame, like after seeing a movie like Infinity War, you know that like something has to happen, or else they just have to end the series, which everyone knew wasn't happening. If that makes sense. So I liked Infinity War more just because it took that weird step that you don't usually see in superhero movies. So
yeah, I think I agree with Colby. I like Endgame more just because like that final battle scene when everyone comes out of the portals is just like crazy. And you like we've never seen something like that really before in a superhero movie or in any movie, that many different characters from so many different movies and everything coming together. Kind of did make it a little hard to follow at times. It's just like they kept jumping back and forth, but I think the Russo brothers did a good job at kind of balancing out with that. So, and I thought it was a good way to kind of round out Iron Man's character. That was pretty good. Are you guys laughing at me because I know the directors?
Yes, because every time you mention a film,
who puts together the sound music on all these stuff? Who did the one for Star Wars? You casually
John Williams.
Who composed?
How do you not know John Williams though?
John Williams is known.
John Williams is phenomenal.
Listen, you're like, yeah, John Williams, and then you list his whole resume, and then here you're like, yeah, this director did that one, this director, not even like over the Marvel universe. Like I'm like, yeah, Stan Lee. Great guy.
Yeah.
Like, this director for that movie, this director for that movie.
Sorry, I'm passionate. My apologies.
Your movie knowledge, like, that's a whole different subcategory of the random facts you know.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
You probably know more movie knowledge than I know, like, other things in this world. Like, anything else.
I like the behind the scenes. It's nice. That's what we would do as when I was growing up. We'd watch a movie, right? And if it was still early enough to where it's not like it's too late to start another one, but it's too early to go to bed, it's like, oh, special features. And we go watch the special features on how it was made, cool stuff like that. And I mean, I watched the Disney Plus specials of The Mandalorian, how that was made. Back to Lord of the Rings, we've got the extended editions, and they've got like the how it was made too as well. But I'll stop there. Anyways. Well, I think we hit kind of the main big movie series.
Star Trek. People are going to be mad we didn't talk about Star Trek, but
Star Trek's not as good as Star Wars. So
that was like the generation above us. I feel like there's not many Trekkies out there our age.
Yeah,
they haven't really put anything out recently, or have they?
They have like video games and stuff, but they've really like focused less on movies and more on like other things.
I guess they redid the Chris Pine with him. They remade him a few years ago, but it's been a few years. All right, I think I think this episode was a good, productive episode. I think we talked about a lot of stuff. I think it was good. So, thank you guys for listening. Please comment and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and if you're listening to us not on YouTube, on Apple Podcast or Spotify or Amazon or Google or wherever. Please follow us and leave a review. It helps us out. And yeah, thanks for listening. Catch you next week.
See ya.
Adios.
Bye.
Voice.